Part 3, Chapters 33 to 37 of This Giddy Globe. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Graham Dunlop.
The Reader, read by David Lawrence.
This Giddy Globe by Oliver Herford. Chapter 33. Monaco. Monaco is the centre of the spinning industry of the world. Over 1.25 million people go to Monte Carlo every year to spin. The inhabitants of Monaco are the most moral and patriotic people in the world, and their army is second to none in bravery and won the World War. Chapter 34. Turkey. When what was once a turkey comes before us on a platter, like this, shorn of all that endeared it to itself, a burnt offering to appetite, fresh from the burning, no one questions what will be the last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history. All he wants to know is whether he'll get the particular slice he has mentally reserved for himself. Just so that other turkey that sits on the fence between Europe and Asia and gobbles defiance at an avenging world. The avenging powers sit round as they have sat round before, waiting each one for the slice he has mentally reserved for himself. But there won't be any slices. You may burn, you may shatter the Turk if you will, he will rise from his ashes and roost with you still. He is the modern incarnation of the indestructible phoenix bird. Nevertheless, we must give the devil his due. The Turks are a fearless people. They have many wives. The inhabitants of Turkey are the most moral and patriotic people in the world, and their army is second to none in bravery, and they won the World War. Chapter 35. Russia. Russia comprises 1/6 of the landscape and snowscape of the globe. Formerly the property of a Tsar named Nicholas, it is now owned by a super Tsar named Lenin. The principal objects of interest are samovars, Soviets, sables, and the steppes. The steppes of Russia, though vast and quite bare, have nothing to do with those of the Russian dancers. At the present stage of Russian affairs, they may better be compared to the well-known steppes of Avernus, which are for descent only, and easy at that. Today, almost the only articles of Russian manufacture are natural ice and press dispatches. Of manufacture of the latter, as regards volume at least, there has never been such an enormous...
Why go on about Russia?
Quite right. Russia is too large for such a little geography as this. We will leave Russia as quickly as possible. Watch your step. Chapter 36. Norway and Sweden. It is all very sad about Norway and Sweden. A handsomer country couple, or couple of countries, it would be hard to meet anywhere, and so propinquous. Have they not been next-door neighbours from the infancy of the world? And everybody knows what propinquity does. It is Cupid's middle name. What more natural than that they should get married? Haven't you heard? Well, it all happened so quickly. They were married in Vienna in 1815, and, well, you know propinquity is the devil's middle name too. They were divorced in 1905 after a brief married life of only 90 years. What could have been the trouble? Some say the food, others attribute it to the domestic drama. Perhaps it was both. Here is a typical Scandinavian menu. Pickled oysters, bisque of snails, fried fish, native wine, quince ice cream, onions and biscuits. It might almost pass for an Ibsen play with the average theatre-goer. It has what the average theatre-goer calls atmosphere. I once drew Ibsen looking bored, across a deep Norwegian fjord, and very nearly everyone mistook him for the midnight sun. Norway is the home of the Ibsenian, or stodgy, as distinguished from the stagey, drama. James Huneker, the eminent lexicographer, as a compliment to that great and hirsutiferous playwright, has rechristened Norway the land of the midnight whiskers. The inhabitants of Norway and Sweden are the most moral and patriotic people in the world, and they won the World War. Chapter 37. Africa. Africa is the richest jackpot in the game of territorial freeze-out played by the European powers. The stakes represent diamonds, gold, ivory, rubber, and slaves, though the latter are nominally outside the limit. The game began nearly 3 centuries ago, and now in the early morning of the 20th century, such a fascinating game is poker. It is still in progress, though Germany, who staked all her pile and lost, has dropped out. The ancient Greek geographer Strabo, 64 BC, describes Africa as the fruitful nurse of large serpents, elephants, antelopes, and similar animals, of lions also and panthers. He does not mention the chimpanzees, who are the most remarkable of all the aboriginal inhabitants, a gentle and peace-loving race, abstemious without being bigoted, and patriotic to a high degree, with very few surviving transportation from their native jungle. Children, behold the chimpanzee. He sits on the ancestral tree, from which we sprang in ages gone. I'm glad we sprang. Had we held on, we might, for all that I can say, be horrid chimpanzees today. The inhabitants of Africa are the most moral and patriotic in the world, and their army is second to none in bravery, and won the World War. End of Part 3, Chapters 33 to 37. Recording by Graham Dunlop.